Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're taking a look at the 7th Saga for Super Nintendo. The 7th Saga is a turn-based JRPG that was developed by Produce and published by Enix for the Super Nintendo in 1993. Upon starting a new game, you're able to choose one out of 7 characters, or apprentices. They all have unique stats and characteristics, which is cool because this adds incentive for repeat playthroughs. When the game begins, the king explains that he's recruited all 7 apprentices to search for the runes, and each apprentice also has their own reasons for acquiring said runes. Once you exit the first town, you'll probably realize that this game is, too hard. Unfortunately, this is what makes most gamers give up rather quickly. I will say that I don't think this game is as hard as people think. It is, however, very grind heavy. At any point in the game, as long as you're the proper level, you shouldn't have a problem. It's just that there are many times where you'll need to put the story on hold and just grind outside a village. When on the world map or in dungeons, you'll have access to the Crystal Ball. This acts as a sort of mini-map and shows where towns and caves are located, as well as treasure chests and enemies. So because you can see where the enemies are, it's not technically random encounters, although avoiding them completely seems impossible. The combat in the 7th Saga is pretty standard stuff that you've seen before. You can attack, defend, use magic and items, and run away. One thing that's not made clear is that you pretty much always want to defend first before you attack. By doing this, not only will you take less damage, but for your next attack you'll do more damage. This is the key to not getting slaughtered immediately. The gameplay is made up of visiting towns, buying items, weapons, armor, and talking to NPCs, you know, pretty much all the usual stuff. The townsfolk will give you story exposition and tell you about their problems, henceforth directing you to your next objective. Throughout the game, you'll come across the other 6 apprentices. Sometimes they want to fight you for your runes, and other times you're able to recruit them into your party. The other apprentices happen to be some of the toughest opponents in the game. This is because they're always 5 levels above you, so grinding won't help you against them. If you lose to an apprentice, they'll take any runes you have, so make sure to save beforehand, and if you die, reset the game. I also want to mention that I like the music here. It's not the best I've heard, but it's still pretty good. For a lot of gamers, the point of contention is the difficulty. For me though, it's actually how bland this game is, aesthetically and gameplay-wise. Visually speaking, there's not much variety. The overworld is just a large, barren desert with nothing to really find or do other than to walk to the next village, cave, or castle. Speaking of which, the villages, caves, and castles all look the same. I mean, there's a few different village types, but otherwise it's all the same. There are minor exceptions, like much later in the game you'll head north to a snowy, barren wasteland, and the villages and caves fit the snowy motif as well. When it comes to the gameplay, yep, it's a turn-based JRPG alright. Like I said earlier, it's pretty standard stuff. It's not bad, but because this game is so grind heavy, you'll need to do a lot of fighting. And just like the rest of the game, it's pretty dull. When in the villages, caves, and castles, you may explore your environments and possibly find treasure chests or hidden items. But that's it. The caves and castles are mostly empty besides the occasional chest. The 7th Saga is very linear with no side quests to speak of. And that's really my big beef with this game. The combat and visuals are dull and there's not much in terms of exploration. It's really not that hard of a game. It just requires that you grind. A lot, which requires patience. Overall, I give the 7th Saga a 6 out of 10. Now, I actually fucking beat this game, and I beat it this morning right before I started filming for my video here. I've attempted to beat it many times throughout my life, but ultimately I do just get bored of it. It's just bland and not really all that fun. I'm glad that I can finally put this game down for good and cross it off my bucket list. I don't think I'll ever play it again, and I would only recommend it to RPG enthusiasts. Guys, thank you again so much for watching. Please like, please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next week.